to Tabletop 24. Welcome back to the UKGE show floor. I'm here with Rob from Wize Wizard Games. Obviously, you may know them from Hero Realms, Star Realms. Star Realms being one of my most played games ever. So this is a little bit of a fanboy moment for me. But we're not here to talk about that. First of all, we're going to talk about this new release.
Yes.
So, Kapow, tell us about it.
So, Kapow is a superhero dice building game. So you're playing superheroes and villains battling against each other. The gameplay is fast and fun, so it takes about 20 minutes to play. And when you're done, you're probably going to want to pick up your dice and play again. The play is very simple. On your turn, you're going to have a set of dice, and you're going to roll those dice. And both players are going to have their screens up, and they're going to roll their dice behind the screens, and then they're going to place their dice. And you can attack, you can defend, you can gain more dice, and the way you do a thing is to just match the icon. So for example, if I want to do this 3-point zap attack, I need a fist, and then I can use literally any die, including a blank one. So I'll throw this blank one in there. And then if I want to make my attack stronger, I can add kickers to it. So for another fist, I can add this wallop, which will give me plus 2 more attacks. So it's like a 1-2 punch there. And I always like to buy dice and build up in games, so I'm going to buy another die. So I need over here to grow and get one of these other colorful dice. I need one of the energy icon, that arm, and then I need a little blue radiation symbol, but I don't have one of those, but I've got a lightning bolt, which is wild, so I can put that there. And then I've got another die I can put in many different places. I'm going to buy another face for for my buildable die here, and then I tell my opponent I'm done, and then when they're done, we'll both lift up our screens at the same time, and we'll show what we're doing. Here, I'm attacking them for 5. If they defended themselves, let's say for 2, take the 5 minus the 2, they take 3 points of damage, and they would just mark it down on this score on these nice score dials here. So I'd knock them down to 17. Now I didn't defend myself at all, so whatever their attack was, I would take all that damage. So maybe they attack me for 4, and I go down to 16. Then we get to the power-up phase where I'm buying an additional trait die. So I would pick any of these colorful dice I wanted. So let's grab another one of these red ones here. And then I'm also buying a non-wild face, so I can get anything but a lightning bolt over here. And I want to get one of these yellow arm icons here, and I'm going to add it to my customizable die and just snap it into place. This die is called an action die. You're going to build it up during the course of the game, and so you can customize it, and some of the most powerful effects in the game require action dice on the space. Any of these spots which have this square icon require the action die, so the most powerful effects you can do, you'll want a built-up action die for those. And then the turn's done. Both players will put their screens back up, pick up their dice, and roll again. You just keep battling in that fashion, trying to get your opponent down to 0 health before they get you down to 0. So very fast, very simple play, but it's very fun and addictive. Frankly, it's a lot like Star Realms in that you're building up and you're trying to decide between how aggressive do I want to be, how much do I want to build up for the future, and there's lots of cool little interactions you can do in the game. For example, there's this ability Sucker Punch, which you can do for 1 shield icon, which gives your opponent -3 health for every die they bought that turn. So if your opponent loves to build up and you know that's the strategy they always go with, you can hit them with a Sucker Punch and do a ton of damage to them very quickly. So that's Kapow, super fast and super fun. Now, we have characters that you can add on. So we just showed you the basic version. We call it sidekick mode, where you just play with the dice. When you add a character, let's say I wanted to play this telekinetic here mindset, I would grab her and I'd add her to my board there. And now it tells me my starting health at 23. It tells me exactly which dice I start with, and Mindset has special abilities that no other character has. So you'll get unique special abilities, and it's just adding to your board. So for example, this effect here, in order to use it, I would telekinetic blast. I would need to have one of the shield and one of the energy icons and put them both down in there, and that is just an additional activation area on your board. Additionally, each of these characters has a solo play mode. So let's say I wanted to battle against 235. I would flip her over, so she would start, my automated opponent would start with those dice and that health. Then once I had that set, I'd flip her over, I'd take my turn as normal, and then when I played my opponent's turn, I would roll my opponent's dice, dice, and you place them on the board from top to bottom, filling out everything you can as it goes down, and that determines what your opponent's doing as far as attacks, defenses, getting more dice, etc. That's solo mode, or you can play PvP. We have two different volumes of Kapow, Volume 1 and Volume 2. You can start with either one. Each has 6 characters. They're different between the two sets. If you happen to get both sets, you can now do 4-player games. You can do 2v2 team, 2 players playing against 2 automated opponents, any combination that you want to do.
Which is fantastic. So yeah, you've got a lot of options with what you've got in a single volume, because not only have you got your individual character, you've got your action die that you're changing every game.
Yes.
Or building a strategy that you're going to use every single time that you have a specific hero, which is great. And then you can do the second volume.
Exactly.
So you've got even more options. So that's brilliant. So where can people get hold of Kapow?
So Kapow, Volume 1 is available in retail stores right now, and Volume 2 is actually coming this month, right after the show. It'll be available for stores to order into around the game shop. So basically, it's available in stores now.
Perfect. So thank you for that. We're going to take a little bit of a sneak preview at another title you've got coming up.
Very exciting.
So we're going to have a look at that now. So we are now going to take a bit of a sneak preview look at something that's going to be coming up, Robot Quest Arena.
Yeah, this is a very exciting game. We're really proud of it. This is actually our first game that we made here at Wize Wizard Games with minis, and oh man, these came out so
They're
nice.
Not minis though, are they?
They're not so many. These are beautiful, large figures. They are really tough, and they're very pretty. So I'm very excited about them. So this is a deck building game, and as you know, Wize Wizard Games is well known for deck building games. Made Star Realms, Hero Realms, and this deck builder is a ton of fun. It combines the deck building with a tabletop arena battle game. In this game, you start with a 10-card starting deck just like you would in Star Realms, and I'll show you an example of a turn to give you a feel of how this game works. So let's say I'm playing this adorable robot pug here, and it's my turn, and I have a handful of starting cards. I've got 4 batteries and 1 hammer card. The batteries, when I play them, they give me 1 energy each. Energy works just like in Star Realms or in Hero Realms. You can use it to buy cards. The cost to buy a card is in the upper right-hand corner. So, for example, I could buy this awesome hydrogen fuel, which will give me tons of energy later in the game, put it in my discard, and be done with my turn. But you, in addition to buying stuff, you also have the option to use your energy to move. So I'll show you how that would work. So let's say I spend 2 energy to move 2 spaces. I'll take Pug and move 1, 2 spaces right next to Petri here. And I happen to have this hammer card in my hand. You'll notice it has a little boxing glove on it. That indicates it's a hand-to-hand attack. Hand-to-hand attacks can hit any square orthogonally next to your miniature. So I'm right next to Petri here. So I'm going to go ahead and play that to whack Petri for 1 point of damage. When I do that, I take one of the health cubes off of Petri's board, and I put it in front of myself as a victory point. So at the end of the game, that's going to be worth 1 victory point. Now I got 2 energy remaining. I could use that to buy additional cards or move on the board, and I can even push other robots. When you want to push a robot, you pay 1 energy to enter the square as normal, but then you also pay 1 energy to push them out. So for a total of 2 energy, I can push Petri here, and you notice I push Petri onto this tax tile. The tax, when you go onto them, you take 2 points of damage. So I'm going to grab these 2 health cubes off of Petri. Now the last health cube you take off a robot is the blue one. Blue ones are worth 2 victory points, the red ones are worth 1, so you get a little bonus if you knock a robot out. Since Petri lost his last health, he's getting knocked out, so he's going to go back over here on his player board, and he's going to be off the board for now. And so now I've spent all my energy, my turn will be done. When it gets around to Petri's turn, Petri's player is going to respawn, so you get full health from the bank, and you get to pick up your robot and put it back on any of the yellow spawn points of the in the board, and you then take your turn as normal without losing any cards, and any time in the game at all. So you lose nothing for getting knocked out. When you knock out, you're just going to jump back into the action and respawn. And so it's a grand melee battle game, but there's no player elimination. Everybody's going to get to play all the way through until the game's over, and there's no worries about ganging up. If a bunch of people gang up on you, beat you up, knock you out, no big deal. You just put your robot on your card and you jump back into the action on your turn and try and collect as many points as possible, beating up on the other robots. And the way the game ends, if you go to respawn and there's no blue cubes left in the bank, then instead of you respawning, the game ends immediately. Players count up their victory points, and then the game's over. So the highest score wins, of course. So that is Robot Quest Arena. It is a ton of fun. It's really great for new players, even non-gamers, because they see the adorable robots, they want to jump into the game, and they can have a lot of fun sort of fumbling through the deck building experience, but they get to move around with their cute robots and have a good time. And even if they get beaten up, they just come right back, so they enjoy it. But for the advanced players, it's a ton of fun trying to figure out the maximum efficiency turn, like with all that energy movement possible, the various beneficial tiles and hazardous tiles on the table. There's a lot to think about, a lot of potential ways to sort of maximize your points. So it's a ton of fun for pretty much all levels of gamers. And one of the great things is the entry-level gamer and the high-level gamer can play together in the same game, and both of them can have a great time.
Yeah, and it's building towards that crescendo of these are all the good cards I've now got, and I'm going to use them, and I'm going to try and push towards it.
Exactly. Or you can try and be aggressive and very efficient, and maybe try and end the game quickly by knocking out robots and getting those respawns happening over and over again to end the game before the other player builds up that incredible engine of their deck. So lots of cool ways to go.
Perfect. And remind us when that's coming through.
So this will be coming out to Kickstarter backers in the July time frame, July-August, and then coming out in retail in the August-September time frame.
Perfect. So check that out with your local game shop and get those on order. So thank you for taking the time with us today. If you haven't done so already, check out other videos from the convention. Check out obviously these guys and the great work that they do, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.